Hey, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday, February 24th. It is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. I am super excited. In case you don't know who I am, it's Regina Rossi Lamoth, and I'm from Here For You Connections and Resources, also your Zumba instructor and Mommy and Me instructor. Today is a really exciting, I'm going to say discussion. Because I've got two people, one who I know well, Fernanda. Hello, Fernanda. And for the first time ever, though we feel like we know each other, is Melanie. And I'm super excited to have them here today to talk about their journey in creating what I feel is so essential for young children today. They started Cocoplum Nature School. They just had their first classes this week. Yay! Or last week. And they've got a lot more to share about what's coming. And I'm just really excited to have this because to me, this is a shift, a radical shift in the what we're used to as traditional educational system. Now get me. Hear me out. There is nothing wrong with traditional educational system. I am just sharing my excitement in something that I feel is super exciting and fun and important for the young ones, because we say that our children are our future, and the future is now. And so their way of learning and getting educated is just a style that excites my heart. And so I just want to share it with you guys. Maybe you'll love it. Maybe you have questions, share it with your family and friends, but I'm excited because not just of the opening of the school, but these are two powerful women that are not just women who, started their own school, but are mothers, are wives, and on top of it, people are getting their doctorate degrees inside of it all. So I call them like complete mom boss babes. I mean, they've nailed it. They have nailed this. So I'm excited, and I want to say hello to both of them. And I'd like to take Fernanda off first, please, and come off mute and say hello to people who are watching us.
Hi, everybody. I'm so honored to be
Yay!
here for your time and for this opportunity to share our passion.
Yes. Great. So Fernanda, you and I met each other thanks to the beautiful social media platform of Facebook. My husband was creating events at the time of coming to our home and sharing about plants, and you reminded me that you came to my house to that event. And I think we were also connected in our Facebook mom groups. But I was really that was the one thing. But I have followed you, right? Because as moms, we follow each other through our social media platforms and have watched you go from, this extraordinary mom, interested in nature, bilingual. We both love the Delray Children's Garden. And I was teaching Zumbini, and you got to be teaching bilingual classes at the Delray Children's Garden. And the next thing I know, you're opening up a school. So let's talk about your journey as mom, motherhood, going back to school, all of that. Come share with the world about you.
Sure, absolutely. Well, just to clarify, I haven't been back in school or officially, I guess. I am pursuing a graduate certificate in nature-based early childhood education with Antioch University, which is a leading university in that area of study.
Yes.
So yes, we've crossed paths several ways. It's been fun. So my journey really has started for over 15 years ago. I studied education, early childhood education. Then I got really interested in multicultural education, intercultural education, and nature-based education. So it's this mix, right, that makes me. And then when I became a mother 4+ years ago, it really clicked. I said, there's nothing richer in my experience, in my opinion, to develop social emotional skills, cognitive skills, language skills than nature. And in it firsthand with my 4+ year old and now my 1-year-old. We can talk about that if you like a little more. Just tell me.
Sure, go right ahead.
So I added the component of nature-based education. I added the bilingual education because of the richness that nature gives. You can compare things in both languages if your mother tongue, or your family's or your heritage language. You can do that way, or have a friend or a really close someone that's really close to you. And Melanie and I believe that this bilingualism comes from relationships, from a friendship, from a connection. You can have a connection to a plant. If you know the name of that plant, if you know how that plant behaves, what it does to you and to others, you have a relationship and you have a name for it and you have words to describe it. And maybe later when you become an adult, you want to protect that plant and all its fellow plants. I sound a little hippie because that's how I believe that it works out. And I've seen it firsthand with my children. My son was 2.5, and he wasn't talking much. And I remember vividly, I used to take him out in the garden, everywhere, wherever I could get a hold of, gardens or nature. I would take him out. And I remember vividly the morning he looked up at me with his hands full of Suriname cherries. And he said, "Mommy, yellow, not ready. Green, no," he said, "green, not ready. Yellow, a little ready. Red, ready. Watch out, there's a pit inside." He said all this describing the process of how the Suriname cherries ripen. And he knew what they tasted like. So he had all these hypotheses and predictions going on in his little mind. And then it became language. So I cannot, emphasize enough the richness of nature for the development of young children. And for adults too. I mean, ask Melanie. I mean, we're like having so much fun out there. It's just phenomenal.
Thank you so much. That is absolutely a beautiful story. And we've got just on here, like 5-6 people already keep on joining. So wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And now I would love to introduce Melanie. Melanie, you're a partner creator, partner in crime, partner in nature. Melanie, come off mute, please, and come and share about you.
Okay, thanks, Regina. Thank you so much for inviting us to do this today. I really appreciate you, using your connections and friendships to spread the word, because like Fernanda and I keep saying, this is not our little secret, right? We want everyone to know what we know and what we have learned, to become involved in Cocoplum Nature School or involved in nature in their own way, whatever it is, because we know the power of the model, right, for the individual and for the community and for the planet. So Fernanda and I met at the Delray Children's Garden too, and we kind of connected over, I think, kind of similar parenting styles, which is, kind of a non-intervention, very supportive and guiding way of being with our children, a very respectful way of being with our children. So our 2 toddlers were kind of, stumbling around in the dirt and picking flowers and probably putting a thing or 2 in their mouths and testing them out. And, we got to chatting and just connected over, being young mothers and feeling connected to nature and loving the garden, of course. And we got to talking about education because, that's both of our background. Fernanda is a lifelong educator and education evaluator and has her EdD in curriculum and instruction. And I, at the time, was working on my PhD in school administration. And when we met at the time, I was on maternity leave from teaching. I was a language arts teacher for a long time. And so we kind of connected over, all of those commonalities. And I think kind of what brought me to this place was that as an educator for a long time, I just felt like something was missing. Something was missing for me as a person, right? I loved my students and I loved the light in their eyes. And I loved how energetic and excited they were for every day. Every day was like a new chance to learn something new and do something new. But there was something also missing for me that I felt like, the educational system was not supporting that in them, that kind of natural curiosity that they have and that natural enthusiasm that they bring. It wasn't always, there wasn't always space for that in the way that I was teaching, really, and the way that the school system, I should say, was set up. And so then when I was on maternity leave with my daughter, with my first child, I had plenty of time. as we know, with those early days with your baby, there's like more time than you want sometimes, right? I had lots of time to read and reflect and think. And what I really noticed with her, even from the very beginning, was like whatever intense emotion she might be feeling, if she was getting overtired or if she was upset by something, the second we went outside, whoosh, the energy kind of evened out, right? She went back to equilibrium. She was instantly tuned in to like what was around her, right? The breeze and the birds and the textures around her. And so then I started trying to tune into that a little bit better, right? Take a page from the baby's book and learn what she knows. And I noticed the same thing for me, right? And then I got to reflecting like, wow, actually nature has always had this effect on me my whole life. And maybe I just got a little too busy to notice it anymore. But this is really powerful stuff. And so that was just, that was kind of the beginning of this journey of self-discovery and kind of self-teaching and learning more about, learning outside and nature schools and forest schools and the models that are really taking off in Europe and Australia and New Zealand and gaining traction in the US more and more. And so fast forward, 4 or 5 years, and now we're here. Oh, you're still muted, I think. There you go.
I am unmuted. There I am. I was like saying, that's great. That's beautiful. Awesome. So here you guys are. I love your story, a little bit different, right? Like it's in your own journey, your self-reflection with your child, right? I really appreciate that because I myself, during the pandemic, really noticed that. I noticed just being busy, like getting in your car and running from this class to this class to this class, and they're all indoors and they're all indoors and they're all indoors. Living in Florida, it's very warm. And then all of a sudden the pandemic happened, and if you're gonna have a pandemic, you can't ask for anything better than Florida. The weather is extraordinary. So the only time that we could be is outside, and we have a beautiful little patio and we have a beautiful little community. And now at this time, I met with my girlfriend at 8 a.m. in the morning with her 3 children. She homeschools them and she uses nature-based learning. And we walked around John Prince Park. And it's been a long time. I was like, I'm so excited to be here. I'm like, you guys know, well, Fernanda knows I'm super energetic, but there's a whole different way, right, of being out in nature. It grounded me. It had me so appreciative and fulfilled and so much more grounded and intentional to be in this conversation. And my daughter is very much my energy, although adopted. They say that your 80% is your biography. 80% you write your life, 20% is your biology. So she takes my energy, but she has so much of my husband's love of nature, so much. I love water, it's like I'm a beach person, a pool person, but now I'm really getting connected to trees and we have our composting area in our house. So I love watching them do that. So I appreciate you saying that, and it just keeps on reminding me. So here you guys are together, and you found the self-discovery. Fernanda, you found your way, and now you're together, and you can both come off mute and chat to share about so how did Cocoplum, come to be? And let's talk about what it is, what you're out to support in children and in families and in communities like that. Whoever wants to go first.
I start. Well, Cocoplum started as a mom-to-mom conversation, friend-to-friend conversation saying, hey, let's do this. I think we are very much alike. We're on this path, and let's just come together. And it's been almost like a perfect marriage. I know Gary's out there. She has become, an integral part of my life in this Cocoplum journey. And we almost read each other's thoughts, but yeah. So it obviously started with the heart, right? We both wanted this for the children in our community, for our own children, basically. And what we have for our children, we want to share with other families. And also because of academic background in which, many years of education and just the academic pillars that hold us, that, through research, through evidence, we see that To us, this is the most fruitful, productive, amazing way to learn. And early childhood is only a small window. It's very small. When you look back, it's gone. And it is a great opportunity to really have that experience for children without them feeling pressured, that am I going to pass the kindergarten test? Am I going to have an A? Am I going to be an A student? So that was really profound for us. It was really important that we provide for children an environment where they are in charge of their learning. If you give them freedom, if you give them the environment and the support and the trust, you will be surprised. They will guide their own learning. It's not just me and Mel saying it. There's a robust body of research that indicates that with these aspects in the environment, children thrive. They don't need the Dido sheets. They don't need the workbooks. They don't need testing, maybe. I respect my fellow colleagues so profoundly. This is the path that I've chosen for my children. And you're welcome to ask us more.
Yeah, I got chills, guys. I got chills. I don't know if you guys have seen on PBS, it is my daughter's favorite show called Eleanor Wonders Why. Okay, so Melanie, totally check it out. Fernanda, I think of you all the time. It is my daughter's favorite show. There's only like one season so far, and I've seen it every day, and I can't get sick of it. You know how you get sick of certain shows? So Melanie, this is for you and for everybody else that's out there. Eleanor Wonders Why is a nature show of nature learning and curiosity, and it's done through the characters of cartoons. There is a bunny, and then, so that's, Eleanor, her bat friend, Ari, and then, wow, I can't think of the elephant. I forgot her name. Anyway, so there are three friends. They go to school, but the school is all nature-based, and it's Eleanor and her friends that are always curious. Like this morning's episode was the leaves falling from the tree, and they're raking the leaves. And then every time they rake the leaves, more, leaves fall, more leaves fall. And Eleanor goes, where do all these leaves go? Like nobody goes and rakes the forest. So they go over to Ari's dad, who's helping them. And he goes, that's a good question. And she goes, I'm curious. Let's go observe. And they go out into the forest, and they notice the leaves. The first leaf that looks so nice and shiny because it's still healthy. Then the leaf that falls, which is a different color, which means now it's like, descending and and then the next leaf is crunchy. That's the ones that they're raking up. And then when they're digging through, they see the leaf that is in the dirt and it's really soggy. And the whole episode is learning about composting. And I'm like, done, right? So each one, and every single one is done with learning about Velcro, where it comes from. They take the science of it, but the teachers are all these like nature-based, and everything happens pretty much out in nature. And my daughter is addicted. And really, she said, Mommy, I wish I had a school like that. Like she said it this morning, and I was like, Mommy's interviewing someone this morning.
Can I share a story from Monday, our first session?
Yeah,
that story. So we had our first session of Cocoplum Nature Play. It's not the school yet, but we'll talk about that in the for the fall. So one of our students, one of our little friends, found a piece of skin, and nobody said, ew, no. Scientists say, whoa, right? So our little scientists, they gathered together, and we handed them magnifying glasses and light, and they were just so curious. They touched it. They just passed it around. One of the girls wanted to start ripping it. They started looking around and asking questions. Who lives here that could have left this piece of skin? So they thought maybe a snake, maybe an iguana. So just the questioning that took place, and we attested, we saw how they walked through the scientific method. They observed, they asked questions, made hypotheses, predictions, not a lot of experimentation, but conclusions. So this line of thinking as you know, it's not only fun and engaging, but if you really break it down to see all the learning that took place, the language, just the cognitive skills, and learning from with your senses. You're touching it, you're seeing it, you found it on the ground, and they worked as a group to follow that line of inquiry, and they were really proud of themselves.
If I can just, if I can piggyback on that, it seems so, it might seem to like the naked eye, like, or to the untrained eye, like really primitive and kind of basic, right? Like you're just going to like play outside with the kids. But really, these are the skills that we talk about people needing right now, definitely, right? And for the future, there are not right answers, all like one right answer and one way to do things all the time. We're learning more and more that, 21st century kinds of skills are critical thinking skills and finding alternatives, right? And asking questions. It's gone are the days of, everybody, raise your hand if you know the right answer and show me the one way to do it on the chalkboard. That's not going to work. That hasn't been working, and it's not going to work for these kids when they get older and they're in high school and college and beyond. They're going to need to be able to find alternative paths and ask the good, hard questions and be forever curious. And kids are they're there already, right? They're naturally that way. And we have a tendency to try to like train that out of them, right? Because it can be exhausting to answer why 400 times a day, right? Because I said, but really what we want to do, we want to foster that, and we want to encourage it, because we need to develop the kinds of people who are going to ask those questions and be creative for their entire lives. And that's what this model does, right? And to Fernanda's point, it's not just the science. It is science, but it's everything else integrated with the science, right? So the language of the word hypothesis, right? That a 4-year-old can use that word and use that word correctly and know what it means, right? And that along with that comes the mathematics, right? So maybe we can measure this piece of skin and determine, could it come from a teeny tiny lizard that's only 3 inches long? This piece of skin itself is 4 inches long, and it's just a piece, right? So asking those questions and integrating all of those content areas around a single discovery, it shows the children what has always been true about knowledge. And that is that knowledge is not math class for 50 minutes, language arts class for 50 minutes, science class for 50 minutes, right? Everything we know, everything we learn is connected. And so that's the other piece of this, right? Is helping the children. Well, we're not helping them because they already know it, but developing a school model that respects that integration, right? And doesn't try to like parse things out into little boxes.
Oh, I'm crying. I've got tears. I do. Because it's, when you... Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no. Because really when, we're looking at the planet, right? And, when we're sitting here talking about our planet, and I do not remember the woman's name, the young woman, but when she stood up and spoke right out to say that how our planet is being destroyed and what's happening, I agree with you, we have really limited our children in the way of exploring and asking questions. I think Melanie said it perfectly. We as parents get frustrated. Why? You know what? And we've made it mean there's something wrong. We've made it mean it's so wrong that we finally say, oh, it's because it is. But that's not the truth. It's not. My husband is in the process for a year and a half now with a very dear friend of his who has been trained by Buddhists and Buddhist thinking. And there is this book is like this thick, and it's called the Buddhist Debate Book. And the whole point is that we all have different perspectives. We all have different views, and we can all share those perspectives and views and speak about them and go to, like you said, if you want to throw that science in there, the hypothesis, the observing, the speaking, all of it to be able to get to an agreement through all different perspectives. It's really an incredible thing. And the fact is, to me, when you're looking at some of the most incredible leaders, profound, that have made such an impact on the planet, it's those leaders that did not go with the straight, this is the way it is. It's those leaders that kept on exploring, those leaders that kept on observing, those leaders that kept on speaking to another group and another group and another group and getting it all in, and then creating their own hypothesis, their own way, and then the path that has shifted and changed, and we're still shifting and changing. And the way you said it really just opened up my heart, because it's been like since the day we chose to have a child. And, again, I have tons of friends in the education system. I love you all. Love you all. Amen. Amen. There's nothing wrong with it. I've just chosen, and my husband have just chosen, that we know where we've gotten to, and we're amazing people. Look, we all are. We're amazing people. But what would it look like? What would it look like if we all went back to that whole, like, when we were childlike, so curious, so all this, that's, you guys know, all day long, that's all I have. And I only have one. All day long, she's like, Mommy, like, she looks at the dirt on the floor like it's like she just won $1 million. We were outside with her magnifying glass. She's like, Mommy, what is that? What is that? And I'm like, it's dirt. And she's like, no, but look at it. And like, we lost that. We lost that as human beings. We lost that. We're not curious. So really our children, like you said, Fernanda, are our teachers. And you said it, Melanie, we're really not teaching them anything. We're having them express themselves and really show us everything. So I love it, guys. I absolutely, you can tell. I'm done. I'm in. I'm like, give me the information. When's the school starting in the fall? Let's go. So yes, beautiful. I really think you said it well. Now you guys can talk to me. What's happening now? Let's hear about what's happening now about Cocoplum Nature Play. Share a little bit about that and what you guys have looking out for the future.
So Cocoplum Nature Play is our program in the spring. We just meet a couple of times a week in the morning, or will meet. We met Monday for the first time, and it was great. I would call it a huge success. The parents loved it. The kids loved it. My inbox was full this morning of parents saying, my friend went, is it too late to sign up? So I have to say that piece of it is just so inspiring, because, to start a school from scratch has been it's a trial, truly. Fernanda and I are education experts, right? We're not necessarily attorneys and real estate agents and accountants and all of those things that you need to be to run a business, right? And so what has really kept us going is that everyone we encounter is like, oh, this is amazing. I want this. And I'm going to tell everybody I know. So that has been so inspiring. And it was so lovely to wake up to. I never thought I'd say that I was like happy to wake up to a full email inbox, but I was today, the way that it looked, right? So that's what we have going on in the spring. And then for the fall, our aim is to open right along with, the schools in the area for our first school year, the 21-22 school year, in August sometime. What we're working on right now is securing our space and doing the renovations to bring it up to code so that, we're keeping everybody safe and that it's a really positive learning environment. So that's in the works. Stay tuned, right? I just actually was on the phone with a couple of our attorneys this morning, and they had some really positive, promising news for us. So I'm keeping tight-lipped on it right now until everything is carved in stone, but we're getting very close. And I think that we'll be able to make an announcement very, very soon about exactly where we're going to be, and we'll be able to open up registration. So that's really the dream, is to have services for all of the families in our area who believe in this educational model and want it for their children, right? And so that ranges from everyone, you've got a single working parent and she needs somebody to, bring her child, a school like this to be able to drop her child off at 8 a.m. and pick them up after aftercare at 5 p.m. because she's got a full-time job. We want to be able to offer that service and this educational model to her and her child. And we want to be able to provide a service to families like who we're serving right now, right? Who have 4 and 5-year-old children and they haven't entered the school system yet. And they're looking for a way to be out social, playing in nature, kind of introducing their children to some very basic academic concepts in a way that's really child-centric and nature-based. So that's the idea for the fall, that we'll have, kind of a full gamut of programming. So we hope to announce soon.
So I had no idea that, like, that's really talk about a shift in educational system. So your goal is to have that place where, as a mom like myself, will be able to drop off my child and to have parents involved with their child during their time. Like, where do you ever go to school where you see your child and then you see the parents still there, right? So that's amazing. And right now you said a couple of days a week for a few hours. You are having, and you already full in capacity for that particular spring semester?
That's a great question. We've got a couple of families right now who are they're driving from a really far distance, and so they wanted a little bit of a trial period to see if it was something that they could make work, because of course we're all constantly revolving our schedules around when everybody needs to eat and nap. So I think that they're working that out. We have 1 or 2 spots possibly remaining. If anybody on the call is interested, I would encourage them to get to the website like 5 minutes ago and fill out the application so that we could start the process if that was something that interested them, because I don't think that those spots will last very much longer, and we will be full pretty soon.
Do you have just so I know that you want them to go to the website and and check things out, but do you have specific, like, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday from this time to this time? You want to answer that, Fernanda?
And Thursdays 8:30 to 11. And just to clarify, at the park where we meet, Lake Ida, the parents stay at the gazebo with cold water and a hot spot for their work. They bring their laptop, and they can do whatever they want. But if they fancy working, like if I were me, I would come with my laptop and work there for 2.5 hours. And the parents are only involved in nature play, not in the fall. They come. They are with us in circle time when we acknowledge the place where we're at, acknowledge each other, and set the intention for the day, sing a couple songs. So we do it all together, circle time at the beginning and circle time at the end. And aside from that, the parents have that time. We only request that they stay at the park, but we take the children out in nature in the park. And we have 2 phenomenal facilitators. Please learn more about them on our website. Vivi and Marisol, shout out to them. We just are in awe of their skills and their abilities and their heart all together. So please join us if you can.
That's fantastic. So you got that, people. They said they have very few spots left, maybe 2, 3 maximum, Mondays and Thursday mornings, 8:30 to 11, right? And an opportunity where you can be with your child, start the intentional, create the intention with them for the day, then go and have your child go and explore and learn and observe and ask questions with their extraordinary staff, while you get to be under a nice gazebo with some nice cool water, doing whatever you want to do. If you're working, great. If you want to read a book, great. If it's that, what I call mommy time, hello, mommy time, have your child out there. But that is happening really quickly and now. So I would reach out to them ASAP, and you can ask them all the questions that you want about that, go onto their website about that. And then the biggest and most exciting news is how they're working really hard at taking this, model into a full educational, I don't want to say educational system, but just like a full educational, experience for your child. Yeah, experience, right? Like it's like, a whole experience where you have an opportunity to drop off your child all day, or you can come and also do what they've already created and be a part with your child and be able to do what you need to do while your child is getting all of those amazing skills. So everybody who's into what we're all into, good vibes, good prayers, all of that, so that all goes through, because like Melanie said, you know, they've got the expertise in this area, but the whole going through the town and and all of that stuff with lawyers and building codes and all of those things are not their expertise, but they've got their people handling that for them. And their goal is to be open and ready in the school year for it's so weird to say 2021, 2022. I'm like, what? I don't even think that's the other thing I want you guys to explore, that there's really no such thing as time. Just none. I don't know. My favorite part is we go ahead.
I want to put out there that if any parent has any questions about the curriculum, the attainment of learning, I want to say that we do follow the Common Core, this guidance, and plethora of other things to provide the learning documentation. So that's one of the areas of expertise. So if any parent has any questions about, is my child going to be able to read? I mean, you know, I'm sure everybody has all those questions. So please send us an email. You can contact me at Fernanda at CocoplumNatureschoool.org. And you can contact Melanie at CocoplumNatureschoool.org. And we're happy to answer any questions.
Awesome. Yes, very important to know that they are following those guidelines. You know, we've had a lot of moms on here have been interested or have been homeschooling. So even inside of that, I want to break that old, so I'm older than all of you guys, okay? Fernanda knows this. So I am. So Melanie, just in case, I'm proud to say in a few weeks, I'll be 53, right? Right? Yes. So I'm old school, people. When you said dinosaur, no, that's me. So inside of that conversation of homeschooling, and as a former social worker for New York for 20 years, you're going back to a time when homeschooling was the child that was bad and, you know, was having difficulty in school, and the school didn't want, and you had to take them home and you had to do the work with them. And it was not a conversation that was healthy and positive back then, in a time where I tried to make it healthy and positive, not even knowing what you guys are even talking about. And I really want to break that shift. I really want to break that old conversation. It's like tired. So, you know, homeschooling, this is a whole other plethora. And people go, well, your kids don't learn and you really don't get, you know, like Fernanda said, no, everything you need to know that needs to have your child succeed and be in the standards of the state of Florida, because that's what we're talking about right now, state of Florida, will happen. It will happen. And I will even say that they'll probably exceed better than you possibly would even imagine. So that's just my personal opinion. I've seen it. I've been to enough of other events to hear it. But you are right now working in the age group of nature play. Somebody answer the age group. What's your age group?
The children in nature play are 4, 5, and 6. It's open up to 8 years old, but I think that there are a lot of people, you know, they've got their homeschool programs kind of rolling. And so the kids there now are 4, 5, and 6. And it's a great group. It's very evenly balanced. And that will be the model in the fall as well. It will be a mixed age group model. So we don't separate by, you know, these arbitrary grade levels that were kind of imposed on schools 200 years ago and then stuck around for who knows why. So in the fall, we'll be opening to, we're calling it primary grades, which is basically 5, 6, 7-year-olds. And then every year, we'll add a grade level. So it'll be a full elementary school in the next couple of years, you know, ages 5 to 11, where, you know, traditionally speaking, kindergarten through 5th grade.
Awesome. I'm going to just be like, keep it going through high school. We'll just, sorry guys, you'll know your kids will start growing up and you realize, oh, we got to add the next or whatever it may be. I'm just letting you know, it's just a thought. Very, very exciting. So I'm going to ask you like this crazy question. I know you might not be ready for it, but like, what makes you different than Montessori?
That's a great question. That's a great question because there are a lot of similarities. My four-legged baby has joined me in the background. She was napping so peacefully. So Montessori has a very specific curriculum to it, right? They have a very specific set of materials, and many of the materials are natural materials, right? Wood, toys, and natural fabrics with natural dyes, which is lovely. And it's a very child-centric model, right? Montessori, they put everything kind of at the child's level so that they can reach it and they have choices. And Montessori is also, it's got a lot of similarities with what we call project-based learning. And so when the children express an interest in it, in something, a topic, the teachers will create a project around that to deepen their learning around that area. And usually with all the subject areas integrated, right? Math and literacy and science. And so this program it shares a lot of philosophies with that model, right? We are child-centric. We allow the children to express their interest, and then we kind of run with that, right? We call it an emergent curriculum. It's slightly different in that project-based learning is, once the children express an interest, the teachers design that project and then they walk the children through it. And so there may be instances in which we employ that kind of instructional approach, but it will not be, the norm and the typical, and not something that we rely on a day-to-day basis. So the project-based learning is just a little bit more fluid in our model. Additionally, Montessori schools, they're schools, right? They're inside and they do spend time outside and they have lovely outdoor spaces. But they are school buildings in the traditional sense that you're inside. The four walls and the materials that you need are kind of there for you in the classroom. Whereas in a nature school, 60 to 80% of our day is spent outside. And so even the things that we do that you might see in a more traditional school, like if we sit in a circle to read a story together or write a story together, those things happen outside under a tree or under a canopy, with the flowers of the trees around us. And so those are kind of two of the major differences that you would see.
Great. Thank you.
I want to add just something very simple. Melanie hit it right on the head. Also, the manipulatives that we use, the manipulatives in the traditional Montessori, they're self-correcting. So there's only one way to engage with the manipulatives, and they're given by the teacher to the child. Whereas we flip it around and just, oh, you found some sticks. Let's see which one is bigger, which one's smaller. So we turn things around, and there's no self-correcting manipulatives in our model. But we do embrace a lot of the pillars of Montessori, in which respect for the child is number one, and the environment is the teacher, or the second teacher, the other teacher. So we have this hybrid per se, right, of the main early childhood philosophies. Reggio Emilia for our documentation and our emergent curriculum, the Waldorf from the social emotional development, the Montessori for what Melanie explained. So we're not espousing one philosophy, where we're coming up with a mix that works for us.
I love that word, the hybrid. That was awesome. And then just to ask, because I know, Fernanda, you're bilingual. One of the things that I loved when we brought Lexi home from Michigan, we adopted her at birth. It took about 2 weeks before we were able to move back home. And when we were looking for a daycare provider, we wanted someone intimate who really had a lot of your philosophies that you were talking about. So I was blessed through my Zumba community to find someone. And it was really important. I took traditional Spanish, right? Took it from 7th grade through 12th grade through my first year of college. So you would think I would be fluid. Passed the tests. That's about it. Now I can speak it. Like reading it, I can remember that, but like remembering it. So I just wanted to know, with regards to in traditional school, by the time you get to junior high school, there is this opportunity of learning a language. Are you guys implementing Spanish and other type of languages, or is that something that's there for the next level? Okay.
I wish I could say we have all these other languages coming, but we firmly believe that language acquisition is relationships, as we said earlier. And so what we have to offer right now is Spanish and English, and we do it in a very gentle, very respectful way. There's no memorization expected from the children. And just to give you an example from Monday, the children found shells, and they were playing with the shells. Where did they come from? Let's go see where they are. The ducks keep on bringing them. What's happening? So that word was already in their play, in their relationships, right? And we just started, Vivi and I are the Spanish speakers, and Marisol too. We just started introducing the word very gently, the word concha, and we use it very contextually. And at the end, we just hold the object and say, hey, remember what this was called? La concha. Or we did with a stick, with a magnifying glass. So it's very gentle, very subtle, and very playful. And we also sing a lot. I mean, I sing a lot. I sing for everything. Yeah, except interviews. So
guys, sing for us. Sing for us.
A lot of singing. So we invent little songs to wash our hands, to come read a book, and we just say it in Spanish over and over. And in that relaxed environment, research shows that when your brain is relaxed, it's when you absorb the most. And the opposite, if I'm telling you, uno más uno, you know, you totally, you're like, what this crazy lady's saying? And it's not conducive to learning. So we do it in a relaxed, loving, natural, playful way.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, you really helped me like for that, because most of that came through me for a Zumbini. When you're teaching that Zumbini, it's the songs, the playful songs that you learn about the body parts and stuff in a very playful way. But you just kind of gave me a trigger of a flashback of my Spanish teacher yelling at me with like vocabulary words. And I'm like, and then you get that vocabulary test and you freak out and you're like, so I appreciate that. All right, ladies, this has been 47 minutes together. Can you believe that? That is how quick this time went. And if there's anything, I'm going to leave it to you, Melanie, first to say whatever you want to say to the people before we go off. And then you, Fernanda, next, and then I'll say what I need to say. And then will be time to say bye-bye.
I just want to thank you so much for doing this, Regina. I think it's great. I think, you know, we, again, just want to spread the word. And Fernanda and I are so accessible, right? You call us, you email us, we will get back to you that day. There might be children screaming in the background of our houses, just like at your house. Here comes one of mine now, right? So we're here and we're accessible, and we want to answer your questions. And so please reach out.
Yay! Wait! Hold on, Melanie, come back. Who is that?
And this is my inspiration. This is Adelaide. She's
yay!
You're feeling shy now. You feel shy now, and that's okay. These are people you don't know.
Yeah.
So this was the baby toddling around the children's garden when Fernanda and I met. Not a baby anymore.
I know. Go ahead, Fernanda.
The same. Just really grateful for this opportunity and grateful for your network of people listening to us. And from the heart of a mom to another mom, I would just want to share with everybody that, you know, the best thing you can do for your child is to trust them that they will learn what they need to learn. Just trust yourself.
I love it, guys. It's been beautiful. I really feel like I can't even tell you how much you've opened my heart today. And I can't wait. Like, I honestly want to go pick up my daughter from school. I just want to be like, I'm going to go get her from school. I want to spend the day. I am looking forward to reaching out to you guys, because I'm definitely putting it out there. I'm interested for the fall. So let's have this happen. And everybody else, thank you on behalf of myself and Melanie and Fernanda from Here For You Resources and Connections. We love you. Trust your children. Let them explore. Let them ask questions. Let them have fun. Be out in nature. We live in an extraordinary place for them to be able to do that. Thank you so much. And everybody have a great day. And reach out to us. Any questions, reach out.